Hello, and welcome to the How to Live in Denmark podcast. I'm Kay Zander-Mellish. When I was working on the 5th anniversary podcast last week, I realized that I'd had podcasts on spring in Denmark, summer in Denmark, winter in Denmark, but nothing on autumn in Denmark. And that's too bad because early fall can be one of Denmark's prettiest seasons. Autumn in Denmark actually starts in mid-August. That's when the kids go back to school. Danish kids have a very short summer holiday, usually only about 6 weeks. By late August, you can definitely feel a little fall crispness in the air. By September, the leaves start to change, and by the end of October, many of the trees are already bare for the winter. But what really defines fall in Denmark is the slow fading of the light. In June or July or even August, you have those wonderfully long evenings where the sunlight lasts until almost 10 p.m. People sit outside at their summer houses or on their balconies in the city, drinking a glass of wine, a cup of tea, or just chatting and enjoying the wonderful scent of the summer air. It's in September that you start to notice that there are a lot fewer hours of daylight. And then in October, it's often dark when you leave your house for work in the morning. It's in September that you start to notice there are a lot fewer hours of daylight. And then in October, it's often dark when you leave the house for work in the morning. Once the clocks are set back at the end of October, the big winter darkness has arrived. But before that, people are very active in Denmark during the fall, almost as if they're trying to outrun the light. It's a busy time for schools, it's a busy time for companies, and it's a busy time for shops, selling all the sweaters and boots and coats people are going to be wearing until, April or May of next year. Fall is a great time for people who love fresh fruit because it's when Danish plums and pears and particularly apples are at their peak. In fact, there are so many different types of Danish apples, I get confused in the supermarket. Should I pick the Ingrid Marie apples or the Philippa apples or the Gråsten apples? That's Denmark's national apple. One local supermarket lists 17 different types of apples on its website. That's a lot of apples to keep track of. You can go apple picking if you like, or you can just take a walk in the woods and enjoy Denmark's wonderful nature in fall, with all the golden reds and oranges and yellows of the leaves. Danes get a week's vacation in mid-October, called fall vacation for the kids at school, and a lot of them choose to stay in Denmark, unlike, say, winter vacation during the ugliest days of February. Everyone who can afford to gets out of Denmark during winter vacation, but in fall vacation, there's lots to do. Copenhagen has its famous culture night, where otherwise inaccessible places like steeples and castle attics are open to the public for one night. And Tivoli Gardens now has a regular Halloween season with a giant pumpkin contest that ambitious Danish farmers can try to win. Last year's pumpkin set a record. It was almost 500 kilos. Seriously, it was the size of one of those electric smart cars. Huge pumpkin. Halloween is a relatively new holiday in Denmark, adopted from the U.S. Now, some people say that's just creeping Americanization, but I also think it was chosen because there aren't really any traditional Danish holidays in fall, so there was an opening in the calendar. I guess there is one holiday, Mortens Aften, in November, but all you really do on Mortens Aften is eat duck for dinner. That's because in the 3rd century, Morten was a man who hid among ducks at geese, so now we eat ducks or geese on November 10th. But the American holiday of Halloween has become very popular, particularly among small children. In my apartment building, the little ones dress up as ghosts or witches, and they go door to door saying, "Slik eller ballel," which means candy or trouble. I always pretend to be very afraid of them. Oh no, please, no trouble. And then, of course, I give them some candy. Anyway, fall in Denmark is a great time to get things done. If you're looking for a job, fall is the time when a lot of people get hired because companies and agencies have to use up their annual budgets by the end of the year. If you're applying to a school, a lot of places have terms that start in January or February that might not get as many applications as their August or September terms. You can apply in fall. Fall has always been a busy time. 100 or 1,000 years ago, fall in Denmark was a busy time too, as people brought in the harvest and prepared for the long winter. It's a good time for you, too, to prepare for all the dark nights ahead, particularly the dark months after Christmas. Start a craft project, get some really fat books, or download a box set. Because when Denmark's beautiful fall is over, there's nothing ahead but the long Danish winter. And that's the How to Live in Denmark podcast for this week. You can come and leave a comment on our Facebook page, visit our website at howtoliveindenmark.com, or talk to us on Twitter at how2liveindk. The 2 is a number. You can also book me, Kay Zander-Mellish, for a speech at your organization at school. Just go to events.howtoliveindenmark.com. See you next time.